One step to the right.
So this is what the viewers are watching. See, so I can zoom in like that
Okay.
and then zoom out. Do you see that?
Okay, yep.
So most of the time I'll have it
Okay.
where you can just see a bit of me. But before I do that, I'm going to pick up that camera and give them a tour
Yeah, yeah,
of
okay, very good.
my show,
Cool.
which doesn't happen very often. Hey gang, thanks for joining me today. I am standing here in Bev's Fine Arts, one of the finest gallery in Raleigh, North Carolina. Honored to be here, and I've got a focus show. That's not the word. What is the word? Anyway, spotlight, that's it. Spotlight focus. You can see how I made that mistake. Before I start painting, let me give you a quick tour of my artwork around the room here. I have, I don't know, 16 or so paintings. So just for fun, if you watch me often, you'll recognize most of this stuff. There's a very recent one, right? Just a couple weeks ago, week and a half maybe. Again, another recent one called American Work. Very inexpensive. Priced to sell. Oh my goodness. This is one of those paintings that was done as it started as a class demo. This one is a little bit older than some of the others. It's always nice when you stumble across a painting you haven't seen for a while. Wait, you know what? Hang on. Sorry about that. My sound is not right, is it? Let me fix my sound here for a minute. There we go. Sorry about that. You couldn't hear what I was saying, could you? Okay, recent painting. Started as a class demo. I was saying that it's nice when you see a painting, for me, like this one, that you haven't seen for a while. And my first reaction is, ooh, nice. Wow, cool. I like that. I like the softness. See, I'm talking as if it's somebody else's painting. I really do. I like the way I kept this soft and all this soft. The only sharp parts are here, and really the top. Very unusual to have that much focus up in the corner, but for some reason I think it works here. So anyway, it's always nice when you see a painting you haven't seen in a long time and you like it. Another class demo. Basic. This is a scene in downtown Raleigh. I called it, I don't usually get cute with my title, but this one is called Tangled Heritage. This intersection is right at the corner of what I'm going to very unpolitically correct call Blacktown and Downtown. And I say that with great affection. And I stood there like this is an old black-owned business. And actually, while I was standing here, one of the leaders of the black community real estate came by, very whatever, successful man, and he was building a big high-rise apartment over on the left. So that was a fun day. Again, pretty recent. This started as a class demonstration. Again, you might have seen me. I just painted this on not very many weeks ago at all. Nearly brand new. That's the end. That's my stuff ends at this wall. Again, very recent. Here's one I haven't seen for a little while. It's been here at Bev's for a while. And again, yeah, I think that works well. Very recent painting here. This is the statue of Martin Luther King with my friend Keith and his daughter. That was a special day that we went and painted together. This painting, if this doesn't sell in the next couple weeks, I'm yanking this back and I'm going to take it with me to Ocracoke because I really like this painting, and I'll take it back to Ocracoke with me and try to sell it there. This is a painting I did several months ago, November, 6-8 months ago. I had just the urge to go out and study some trees. So did that painting of a tree. And this is a painting of downtown Washington, D.C. In fact, there's the White House right there, Treasury Building, and the Willard Intercontinental Hotel right there on a rainy day in Washington, D.C. So there you go. That's the extent of my show. And today I'm going to be doing a painting of the Raleigh skyline. Let me get you all plugged back in. Ready to get started. I would love to finish this painting by about 3:45 or so. So let's get going. Let's try not to get any paint on the carpet, shall we? You know, the other night I was painting at the Beach Music at North Hills. Really crowded, people all around me. And I was doing this part of the painting. And I had yellow on my brush. All of a sudden I went, oops, I think I just saw a drop of yellow paint go flying. And there was a man standing right about here. He jerked around and looked at me. Thank goodness.
Well, I'd be honored. I'm coming up close.
I said, I'll sign it for you if you want. There was a drop of yellow paint on his ear. He was such a good sport. I was mortified. And I looked, because what I was really afraid of, I didn't care about his, well, I did care about his ear, but I was really worried about his clothes.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find any paint on his clothes, so I gave him a credit card. No, not a credit card. That's what he was waiting for. I gave him my business card and said, if you find any paint on your clothes, you give me a call. And he was, anyway. Whew.
Now, question, is this acrylic or?
This is definitely acrylics, being handled very much in the style of watercolor. Yeah, so you're on the right track at the moment. It looks like watercolor. But, and you know, I always wish that this was my style.
I love your.
$4,000.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Done
right.
Done in about 45
Are we
seconds.
being taped?
Yes, yes, we are. We are being taped. But you can say, oh no, no,
Oh, okay.
people.
I totally understand that point.
If only. I mean, I think that's beautiful.
I do too.
Don't you?
I do too.
Yeah.
Why don't you sit
If
there
only.
aside and get it
I need to
over?
talk to Wendy, boss lady right here. Wendy,
Well, why couldn't you do that?
I could. Give me a new
And
name.
I'm Margaret Thomas.
I know you from somewhere.
I've
Where?
been in one of your classes.
I thought so.
And
Hi,
do you
Margaret.
remember one time we were on the street painting for a fair in Raleigh?
Uh-huh.
It was like 8 or 8:30 at night, and we were so busy. We were doing like 100 things at a time.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
100
And I brought you coffee.
Bless your
You
heart.
probably don't
Thank
remember
you.
that.
Well, I
went
knew
and
I
got
knew
coffee.
you. I don't
And this
think
is
I
my
know.
friend Michelle.
I'm a
Martin.
budding artist.
Michelle is
Yeah.
Oh, you should see it.
Margaret's my mentor.
Fantastic.
I try to
Thank
practice
you.
what you preach.
Yeah.
And I love
you.
you. I
Thank
shouldn't
you.
keep you from
Oh.
it, but I just wanted to say
I'm here
we're
to
longtime
visit.
admirers.
Oh, thank you,
Go
Margaret.
ahead.
Appreciate
You've
it.
been an inspiration in a lot of ways.
Oh, thank
Do
you.
I have to do Facebook to find out what you're up to?
No, I'm actually doing YouTube more.
Oh,
These
good.
days.
You're a YouTuber.
I
And-
am a YouTube girl.
Are you really?
Yeah, I don't really like Facebook anymore. With all due respect, I
Yeah.
know it's part of
Yeah,
culture, but I
No,
never
there.
started
That
it.
age is in Instagram.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am
that's
I
what
right?
my
Am I
grandchildren
right?
have been trying to get me into.
Yeah. And I need to get
so
into
I don't do
Instagram.
Facebook anymore. I don't have to do that. Good. I missed
No.
the whole phenomenon. Good for me.
No, I'm doing YouTube.
Okay,
Although I'm
great.
hiring an assistant just this week to help me with all the
Yes.
techniques. Somebody
Good
his
for
age.
you. Yeah, and they don't think it's this. They go, oh, that's no problem.
Yeah,
Have you heard that phrase for
Oh
your
yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
No
Oh
problem.
yes.
NP is what they
No
say.
problem.
No problem. No, seriously. I'm
That's
sure
right.
you know all the lingo.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not sure all of it, but I mean, once your young adult kids move out,
Right.
there goes all your technical support
Exactly.
until
You
your
have to-
grandchildren get old
yeah.
enough to. And
You have to remember the number for Apple. It's awful.
yeah. So I'm doing at least I think I'm doing a view of Raleigh from Dix Hill.
are you? Are you guys here for the show? Good. Did you start painting? So you're here just in time.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very good. Welcome.
We have one of your paintings, by the way.
Do you really?
Of Logan's, and we love it.
Oh, it must be an old one.
It is.
You need an upgrade.
Best comment ever.
So you're saying you were a youngster when you did
Yes, yes, yes. I barely
It's
shaved.
got a lot of greens in it. I can't remember the exact
Oh my
name.
goodness. Because it's been a while since I did Logan. They're good friends of ours, but it's been a while since I went and painted there. So I know it must have been a while. Did you buy it here, by any chance? Because that would be about the right time. I was in Bev's like,
I bought a
12
lot of
years
things
ago.
at Bev's. I'm not positive.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to say for sure.
yeah. Well, good.
We'll say
Well,
probably.
Say yes.
yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yes, I do.
So I have here, I'll show you. I have
Okay,
a
well,
photograph
We've got lots of stuff.
that I'm looking at that I got taped. I'd rather have it taped up here. Yeah, I think I would. Okay, so now it's above me. Yeah, I think I like that better.
Hi, how are you guys? Hi, how are you? This is the guy. I'm good. Are you here to see Dan? Oh.
Wrong answer.
No offense.
I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan. No offense. Hey, I'm wanting to get my husband in this.
It's interesting what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Being a non-artist person,
Well,
I can't draw.
Me either. That's not true.
Listen, we're doing the spotlight show, which is my Dan. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes, I would show you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go straight. Let me. There we go. Okay, just want to make sure my microphone's in the right place. I'm gonna go straight to red now and see if I can make corrections to that drawing, refinements and corrections with a slightly darker color.
Okay.
The fun part about this technique is when you use a darker color, the earlier lighter color essentially disappears. You tend to not notice it as much because it's covered over with a darker color. Okay, so let's see. Oh, hang on. Let's.
Do you do much plein air painting?
I do, yes. Most of my work is done. Most of these paintings are done on plein air.
Okay.
So a little bit more careful. But again, even the lines that I'm making now are not, I make no pretense that they're all correct. Does that make sense? I think that's one of the key tricks for doing good drawing is, sure, be careful, sure, try to get it right. But don't assume that just because you put it down the first time that it is right. Be willing to quickly change your mind and move things around. Now, there's so much detail in this scene. So much information. My brain's a little bit on overload, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Okay. So you're looking to have a word and then have it cut letters in the frame. Okay.
who put all these buildings in here? I'm asking myself. There's entirely, it's like that line from Amadeus, when somebody played one of Mozart's pieces, and some music critic said, too many notes. That's the way I feel like right now. Too many buildings, too many lines. Too many lines in this city.
That's the one that we usually recommend.
So, what do we do?
Well, so if are you wanting us to order this for you, or do you want to order it and then just bring it to us?
Well, it would be the general, around that general price anyhow.
Yes.
It's with baby cans.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a frame in the car.
Okay. If you want, you can leave the frame here with us.
I'd like to.
Okay. And then if you want us to order it, or if you ordered it,
I'd like to know, can you pull this on the computer to show me how you would make it that small? What would be included in that? Because I want to be sure I have some color.
Okay.
And okay, I realize, so I didn't know what it was like.
So I've said this often before. Let me repeat it here. You can see that I'm changing my mind everywhere. And in most cases, I will change my mind yet again before I'm finished. And I've discovered that those changes of mind, where I move a line left, right, up, down, not only is it okay, it actually makes the painting better, because I get a sort of iterative jitter, would be the fancy word for it. The rejected, neglected, erroneous marks from early in the process serve to make the painting more interesting than it would have been. If I hadn't made that mistake, so to speak, quote unquote mistake.
Because it seems like it's 36 long, correct, by 12. So you're really probably going to get, since this is 36 wide, you probably aren't going to get a lot of space, because so you'll have to. And so you maybe think about this in thirds.
That's what I did. You see, it's probably the full.
Okay.
I need one full.
Did you? Okay.
I'd love to have like that, but maybe I'll have like this.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, we could. I'm trying to think of a good way to visualize it, so that way you can kind of have.
Well, they said.
So is architecture your favorite thing?
It really is.
Okay.
The main reason is, I think, I like the interplay of straight lines and organic shapes. So it's real easy to illustrate. Why don't I go out on the mountainside and paint a mountain, a hill, and a stream, and a deer? Because it's all organic shapes, and that to me is boring. I slap a cabin or a castle in the middle of that, and now I'm interested, because now we have straight lines to contrast with all the organic shapes. And I like human beings.
Yeah.
Very politically incorrect. I actually like people, and I don't think that we're a blight on the planet. I think that I think where people go and work with nature is actually better than when nature had it all to herself. So I like the way human beings have manipulated the planet and built things that house us. So there, that's a little more philosophical than you wanted, but
No, I'm wondering about it. That's why I asked.
yeah. So I do enjoy architecture. Evidently, I sort of say that after the fact. I must enjoy it, because I'm the kid in the car that's going, ooh, look at that house, or look at that building, or that kind of thing.
Are you from Raleigh? Or?
Yeah, I've been here 29 years. Grew up mostly in Michigan, and a little bit of Canada, Minnesota, Texas, and Ohio. But been here the longest of all those.
Have you ever gone to Europe to do any of that
Yes.
architecture?
Yes, I would. Yes, that's my only complaint. It's like, Lord, why'd you tell me to go to Raleigh? We don't have much of that old world. In fact, my observation in the couple of years has been the closest you can get to that without getting on a boat or a plane is actually, Toronto, Canada, and Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, interesting.
There's a lot more old world. I mean, there's more even in New York than there is around here. You know, in the New England, Northeast, there's more of that, whatever that is called.
Even the old brownstones in
That's
Boston
right.
are
Exactly.
kind of interesting.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I was in Toronto a couple years ago. I was born in Canada, so I've been there a lot, but was just blown away. It's like, oh man, maybe I should move to Toronto. I'm gonna die in Raleigh. I'm okay with that, but I can take trips to Toronto, can I? The challenge then is how many people in Raleigh want to buy a painting of Toronto?
Right. See, that's true.
part of the fun of, that's why we like the Logan one so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the area,
Right,
all the
because
ones that
it's
you do of the
yeah.
area are great. Like that one of Glenwood is really nice too, with the canes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
I know, he would like that.
So this is the way pretty much they all start. All the cityscapes pretty much start this way. Some stay messier than others. Some get a little bit more cleaned up.
Now, painting of that size, from start to finish, how long will that take you?
5 hours. But then very often, if I take it home with me I'll look at it with fresh eyes the next day, and it'll get some tweaking. So then maybe it's 6 or more hours. But I do a lot of live paintings for weddings, for instance. I'm doing a wedding tonight where
Oh, wow.
the painting is usually finished at the end of the reception.
Uh-huh. Where is that going to be?
So tonight I'm at the Carolina Country Club.
Oh, that'll be a nice venue. So
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
paint that scene with the bride and groom?
Yeah,
or?
exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
typically the first dance
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
with the
I've never
yes.
even heard of that before.
Haven't you really?
No.
What,
I
are
mean,
you
I've
married?
heard- No.
Oh, good.
Now she's heard of it, right?
The cost of the wedding just went up a little.
That's right.
That's right.
But it'll be one everybody
That's right.
remembers.
That's right. Exactly.
And we'll come.
That's right.
We'll do it organically, and then Dan won't.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
No, I think it's
Exactly.
neat. I've heard a lot of like the photo booths, and I've seen
Yeah,
a lot of those
no.
that actually
This is
have.
much nicer.
Yes, I like to tell people that. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I mean, my rates are not cheap.
Well, it's a
But they pay the
special-
photographer more than me.
That's
Right.
And I like to tell them, your great-grandchildren will be fighting over my painting. They won't be fighting over the photographs.
Oh, that's
anyway.
true.
They'll go in a
Yeah.
box like, who wants these? I don't know, give them to Smedley. But there'll be a family fight over my painting. At least I comfort myself with these delusions.
I love this one though. I know it's organic. I love this one. I
Oh,
saw it
do
in-
you? Yeah.
I do. I saw it
Thank
in
you.
the brochure. It's really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. That one is all organic. I took the farmhouse out there. Actually, it wasn't a farmhouse here. But this painting was about, it was a study of pictures. Yeah. I drove out on Mitchell Mill Road. You know where that is? Out sort of towards Rollsville. And we live out that way. Anyway, it's about 10, maybe, 20 miles outside of Raleigh. And, you go trespassing with an artist, it's where you get shot.
Yeah.
Usually people are nice. And, he had this farmhouse. Which general was it that intercepted Sherman at Raleigh and didn't destroy Raleigh? Sherman's army didn't, but Johnson was here. Anyway, he was going back to Washington, D.C., and he stayed at this farm on his way back to D.C. at the end.
You may have seen it.
That's right, yeah.
Are you familiar with Ben Ham, the photographer?
No.
When you made that comment, it reminded me, because he was in a lawsuit. Because litigants said there was no way he could get that perspective unless he was trespassing on their property. So they sued him.
Wow.
Yeah, too many lawyers. Are you a lawyer?
Look him up sometime. He exhibits in Charleston and Bluffton.
Really? Yeah.
And he's sort of in hand labs, uses the big cameras.
Really?
Does a lot of organic stuff.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty accomplished.
Wow.
As a photographer.
Yeah, that's why they sued him.
Yeah.
Because he's successful.
Right, yeah, money.
Yeah.
I think he finally settled it, but I think it took him years.
Oh, that is awful. Oh,
When you said that, that's what.
yeah, that's right. That bad memory came back to mind, right?
Do you ever do things with like Duke University and Duke basketball, anything like that?
You mean just painting?
Mhm.
Yes.
Down in
Yes.
Durham and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've done. It's been a while, but I've done quite a bit, quite a few. One of my favorites was actually of an interior of Duke Chapel. And the
Okay.
painting was 7.5 feet tall and 4 feet wide, so it was almost life size. Joke.
Did somebody there buy it from Duke?
No, well, yeah. I mean, somebody bought it, and they must have had some. I can't remember. I'm sure they had some connection. It wasn't like a professor or anything, but it was somebody who went to Duke or cheered for Duke or something. Yeah, it certainly wasn't anybody from UNC that bought it.
Or NC State, probably.
Do you ever add things like when
Oh,
you,
yes.
when you take pictures, but if something?
Yes, yes, all the time. And move things, yeah, subtract things.
Like the sky, you might do it a little differently.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I do that quite often.
Artist license, right?
That's right. That's where I advantage over the photographer. He can do it in Photoshop, but
That's true.
so this picture was taken from Dorothea Dix.
Oh, okay.
And when the tornadoes came through, what, 6-7 years ago? Do you remember? Did y'all live in Raleigh?
Lived here for a long time.
Do you remember the big tornado that came right through downtown?
I don't remember that. I remember the North Raleigh one, the one
Yeah.
that came more on.
No, that was 29.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago. We were here 33
That's a
years.
week
Yeah.
over there.
And that was right before we moved here. That's why I know exactly when it was.
I don't remember the one down here.
Hit Shaw University, wiped out Earp Seafood on South Saunders. Anyway, there were a number of big oak trees here on the Dorothea Dix campus. They got knocked down, which is sad to see these huge trees. But it made for good views of the city. Before that, you couldn't paint this view of Raleigh because it just wasn't there. So.
I think every business person should have one of theirs, one of yours.
Absolutely, I agree. Are you available for marketing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great local artist that we have as well. You know, I'm not sure of that. I think it's very close to.
So when did you know you had a talent?
Well, I know when I thought I had a talent, which is when I went up to kindergarten.
So did I, but mine never developed.
Yours-
Oh, they did tell me she had real talent.
Yeah, and it just never, nothing happened.
You had a good mother, and all your paintings or all your work was on her refrigerator. Good. My dad was a good painter,
Okay.
and so by the time I went to kindergarten, I remember marching off, thinking I was going to show these people I'm an artist. That's so evident. Maybe there was something. Or maybe just a lot of encouragement. I don't know.
Did he do similar style or different style?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm different. Traditional, landscape mostly. And he was pretty good. Looking back now, I teach art quite a bit.
Where
And compared to most people,
or?
most amateurs, he was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do I teach? Yeah. Do you know Jerry's Artorama art store on Wake Forest Road? Do you know where Trader Joe's is?
Yes.
Right behind Trader Joe's. Yeah, if you're not an artist, why would you know where the art store is? Yeah.
Do you teach other series classes? Like,
Sometimes, if I thought it would pay the bills, I would.
yeah, I know.
If there was a regularity to it. I teach, the next 2 weeks I'm teaching out of town, here and there, in North Carolina. These happen to be both in North Carolina.
So if you were doing an oil, would you do an acrylic underneath?
Yeah. This is 95% of my paintings are just like this: acrylics underneath and oil on top.
Has there ever been a piece that you've liked so much that you couldn't sell it, that you just had to keep it?
No. In fact, until sometime in the last year, and that's because my mother-in-law moving in, out. There wasn't a single one of my paintings in our house. And when I'm out painting on the street, often, people will say, oh, they'll say nice, and especially these cityscapes, and, how much are your paintings? And sometimes I can tell they think I'm going to say $75, and they're quite dismayed when I say whatever, $1,000, $1,200, $2,000, whatever. It's like, oh. And I have a standard line to diffuse the tension. I say, that's all right. I can't afford my own paintings either, which is true. So no, I want money. You can have this painting. I'll make another one. I want to pay my mortgage. You're sweet. In case the artwork doesn't work out. Yeah.
Paintings have this difference of the finished product is, I can't explain it, but the surface looks so different.
Oh, good. Well, I hope so. Thank you. Thank you. It's funny. I didn't set out to be different. It just turned out that way. There, yeah.
Yeah. Because, to do that, so. Which two are where are your son? Okay. Yeah.
I love that one too, but if I had to choose.
What is that pencil?
Pardon?
What is that?
What is the pencil?
Yeah.
They are, I don't know.
Okay.
Jerry's makes them. They're not as greasy as a grease pencil, or China marker, but they're more greasy than say, a Conte crayon. So it's a wax base, and it's unconventional, of course, to use pencils. Now, you all have seen how the painting starts, so you can understand when people walk up, they'll see the pencil marks, and they say, "Oh, did you start out with a sketch?" It's kind of a laugh. No, why not? The sketching actually comes late in the process. And I like the way it looks. I like the way the scratchy pencil marks interface with the painterly marks. And unlike a traditional oil painter, back in the day, like my dad, would often do a real simple charcoal sketch before he started painting, but he didn't expect any of that charcoal to be visible in the final painting, whereas I do very much expect some of this pencil stuff to be visible in the final painting. Somebody put too many buildings in here.
If you think that's true now, wait 5 years.
Isn't that the truth?
It'll look like the prairie.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Compared to 5 years from now.
Yeah. 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 Is Apple coming for sure now?
I've heard yes.
I've heard yes too.
You mean the headquarters or the distribution?
No, not
Customer
Amazon.
service.
Apple.
Apple.
We don't know about Amazon yet.
I've heard we're in the top 3. Which is strange, because how could we be with no light rail?
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still retired. Yeah, she's coming every once in a while though still, and likes to do some things. So she's still here every once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to know
She's doing
where I am. It's easy to get lost. I think you're drawing one building.
And okay. Can I get you guys anything?
Oh, maybe you can see
Would you
that.
like? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm working
Okay.
hard
Would you like anything?
and getting a stiff neck.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes, yes. But yeah, if you
I'm going to draw. I've just put a glaze over the whole painting, and now I'm going to draw with small brushes and dark oil, transparent.
Now, is the glaze to create a barrier so nothing underneath it can be changed?
It's acrylic underneath, so it couldn't be changed anyway. But it does. I do make sure that I cover the whole canvas so that just me being obsessive compulsive slightly. So it's an oil painting.
Okay.
It's like there's
Right.
oil on every bit of it. But really, the glaze. I mean, it transforms the painting quite a bit because there's color. I did pink in the sky, yellow here, brown and dark. All these. This is all much darker than it was just a few minutes ago. And that's fun because it happens quite quickly. It doesn't take hours and hours to get that done.
Ever paint the same scene twice?
The same thing? Subject matter?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time.
I mean, the same downtown street.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've painted this scene at least 4 times, probably 5, maybe 6. And the classic views of Raleigh, like from South Saunders.
Okay.
I can't believe there's not one here. I've done a dozen times, I'm sure, but they sell, so.
Is that the old Holiday Inn hotel right there, or no?
No,
Down-
this is
Should know this.
BB&T. This is the
Okay.
greenish. There's 3 tall buildings in downtown Raleigh right now: PNC, Wells Fargo, and BB&T. Yeah, so we're on Dorothy Dix Hill, looking northeast. So the sun came up over this way and it's setting down to our left. And it's funny, of all the buildings that I paint downtown, this one is the most difficult or the most irritating. I don't know why it's funny. I should love them all the same. I've painted them for years. But just the particular architecture of that building I find challenging.
And you're born and raised, Raleigh?
No, been here 29 years.
Okay.
Lived a whole bunch of other places. Planned it, as I say to the natives. Are you a native? Yeah. Where are you from?
Well, Pittsburgh originally.
Oh, really? Yeah. I wasn't born here, but I plan to die here. Does that count?
There you go. It doesn't.
I don't plan to go anywhere. I'm glad to be here. Even though I do wish we had more old world architecture. But just think, in 100 years, this will be old world architecture. When my paintings are being sold on Antiques Roadshow.
When you're dead.
Zing! $250,000. I'll say, what? So let's remember that.
Coming back to pick up that.
Someday these paintings will be worth a lot of money. When we're all dead. I comfort myself with these illusions.
As you're eating peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
I have that.
What's the biggest piece you've ever done live?
8 by 10 feet.
Oh, wow.
I do that. That's what my big easel allows me to do. Done many, many of those. In fact, when I started that big 8 by 10 foot stuff, I painted on vinyl. And I used to do an 8 by 10 foot painting every Saturday night in Moore Square.
Oh, wow.
And then wash it off every week. And drive people crazy. It was so much fun. No. Yep.
Sandpaper, sand.
So I did that about 100 times before I felt like I was ready to start painting, paintings that I didn't wash off. But it's really hard to sell 8 by 10 foot paintings. You need a bigger gallery. Tell Wendy. Tell Wendy she needs a bigger gallery. Yeah, you can't even fit it through the door. No.
And when you street paint, are you doing like, I read that in your little bio, is that you use pastels, like if you do street painting?
Oh, you mean like on the street?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
That's always sad when they have.
Yeah.
Washed away.
That's right. Part of the ephemeral art, whatever, shtick.
You were talking about your congregation helping you with the big painting. I was at Leesville Elementary School one year when Wyland came in to do a mural on the wall, and
At Leesville?
yes, Leesville Elementary.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he did it. It's still there. thank
Is
God.
it really? It must be indoors, right?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
It was pretty impressive watching that and helping, and the kids all helped. And,
Yeah.
yep.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Huh.
He was mixing so many colors. We had Dixie cups going. Andrew, were you there for that?
I don't think I was.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you were. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you would have been 5 years behind, yeah.
You went to Leesville Elementary?
I went to Leesville High.
Oh, Leesville High, okay.
Where'd you go to elementary?
I didn't go here for elementary
Oh,
school.
okay.
Yep. So I missed it.
Yeah, yeah. I really prefer the time of the year when trees are bare. Can you tell? I mean, I do plenty of
Leaves.
when there's leaves, but yeah, I prefer because you can see the buildings
Yeah,
through the
sure,
trees
sure.
when they're bare. Plus, I just like the texture. Okay, can I quit trees yet? Am I done?
Having fun there, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to do, and I seem to be evolving here. I used to do pencils next, but here lately I've transposed a couple of steps, and I'm going to do what I call my fuzz layer next.
Is it going to be the trees?
It's going to be everything. It's a layer of soft edges, translucent color, so you can see through it, not transparent, not opaque, translucent, and local color. And that's become even more important. Again, I'm always experimenting, always evolving, always trying new things. And then when I try something new, I don't know that I'm going to stay, with that experiment, or if it's just a passing phase. Like when I started using pencils a couple years ago, maybe it's just a phase, but it's been a couple years now, and I find myself still enjoying it. So let me take a minute and clean up this mess again. So you paint, right?
Well,
Tell me your name again.
Ellen. Hi. I used to in college.
Oh.
Sorry I gave it up.
Okay. So you're gonna start. You're gonna start
I
again.
am gonna start again. I've got time now.
Yeah, good.
I'm more of a black and white, charcoal,
That's
pastels. Yeah.
great. Go for it.
But I'd love to learn this. I painted with acrylics for a boyfriend once, because that's what we do.
That's right. Back in the day.
You're never gonna know.
Was that you?
No.
No, sorry,
but he really
sorry,
wanted
honey.
to be
Yeah,
that
sorry, I never painted for you, honey. What was it? W.C. Fields.
You did it.
Isn't that weird? I did it again. So
Yeah,
I
that's-
can't really actually. Isn't that silly? Yeah, but that's what I did.
Well, most of my students are just like you, in this stage of life.
Ready to pick up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did a career, raised a family. Now I have a little bit more
Got
time again. So
more money.
Yep.
Kids are going.
Yep.
Right.
So exactly. So that's the profile.
When you do a class offering, is there, does Jerry's, down there offer, you know, a package, you're gonna get the canvas, you're gonna get the paints.
Oh, yeah, no, they don't usually sell a prepackaged
Okay.
set of supplies, but the store's right there, so
Right.
they're very happy for you.
I'm sure.
Come in and buy some.
Right.
Yeah, that's how that usually works. And when I teach out of town, it is more often the, pay for the package if you want it kind of thing.
Now, you just did those trees, how are you gonna get blue skies under that right tree?
Exactly, good question. Good question. So I'm going to do right now, as soon as I finish dropping all
The
my
juggling
pictures.
act.
I'm going to start this what I call the fuzz layer. So, and it's local or realistic color. So for instance, this is going to be a blue-ish sky. So I'm going to start doing some blue, and it's very soft edges, like this. Woohoo! You thought I was ruining it. You thought I was ruining it earlier.
You've got a plan.
I mean, getting to the point where I was even comfortable doing this was a long time coming. This is just crazy because it sure feels like I'm ruining it.
Right.
And maybe I am. there is always that
So
possibility.
we'll sell this one for $250.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
That's cool. Wow.
Now, in this case, the blue also doubles as atmospheric perspective, of course. So, but it's my messy layer, soft edges, translucent.
So is that pink different? That pink, you think translucent, is it?
So it's got white in it. So it's
Oh,
opaque,
okay.
Opaque paint applied very thinly. And that would be quite a mess if I stopped there. But I've got another couple layers to go. Okay, that's enough blue for the moment. And anything that if I want it to look like, in this case, it's outdoor painting, outdoor scene, so the sun is this light source. Or if there's anything that I really want it to look like the sun is really just blasting off. So like in this, I look for which buildings do I want to accentuate, and I'm being influenced partly by the photograph, but the photo is way too mild, way too flat and boring. So I want this building right here, that really is a bright one, to look bright, and this corner right here, I think.
You ruined it.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot of light down there, yeah.
And some of this light over here.
It's just coming back in. So, what is that down there? What is that part of town?
Oh, that's the new Boylan Heights
Oh,
development.
okay.
It used to be a poor part of town.
Okay.
Now it's a real high
Yeah.
rent part of town. Townhomes. In fact, I did a painting of this one time, and I forget how the person found me, but the builder of several of those homes found me the day I did the painting, and I sold the painting to him right there on the spot. It was nice. That, of course, was before I met these fine people. They didn't get a commission out of that one. So you can see why I sometimes call this my messy layer. And there.
It's something I've been trying to dissect a little bit every time I walk the gallery.
Yep.
I love that those trees are so soft, and I get a little bit of light going through them, so it's a little, love that.
So, for instance, when I'm doing this, sky holes, they're traditionally called, which in this case is, it is a sky hole, but I always say, I wasn't there the day the committee came up with that name, because it's a dumb name. Because if that's a sky hole, then what is this?
Right.
A building
hole.
Brick hole. Yeah. It's like anyway, so but they didn't ask me. Darn, whoever they is, when they came up with that name. But that's the traditional name. So when I'm doing it, it's real easy for me. I'm kind of a neat, kind of fussy, neat person. You wouldn't know it by looking in my van out there, but essentially, and so it's really hard for me not to do too many hard edges and just get carried away. It's hard for me to keep it soft. It's like pulling back on the reins, not to do too much. Same thing here with the edge of a building. You know, if I stop thinking about what I'm doing and kind of go into autopilot, I would just mindlessly, trace this, in this case, trace the whole building, like da 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 da. Then I get all done, it's like, oh, crap. That was too much, right? So you can see even the orange peeking through the blue. Our eyes get a kick out of that. I call it, other people call it, a vibration, especially when it's a complementary color. There's a bit of a vibration in that, and our eyes really get a kick out of it. So why do I do that? Because it looks cool. And of course, when you're painting, it's actually because I think it's going to look cool, and I hope I'm right. If I make enough correct decisions, it'll be a good painting. So this purple streak right here, you can see, is one of the very, very, very first strokes that I put on the canvas. You can see it comes down here, and this red one here, so there'll be a lot of it showing through that tree. Doesn't make any engineering sense. It's like, why is that there? And if I don't like it, of course I can cover it up, especially in this layer right here. But what I'm always surprised by is how much I do like it. It's like it doesn't make any logical or realistic sense. You're like, what's that supposed to be? So plane crashing.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. No, it's just a mark.
That's true.
It's just a mark, and for some reason.
But those colors were purposeful. The purple, the red.
Yeah, that's right. They were.
They were purposeful.
Yeah, complementary, opposite of what I thought was going to be up there. And I usually keep one pencil out so I can come back the last minute and do wherever I think I need a little more definition. Like that.
Yeah.
Definition like that.
They need a scribble.
Yeah.
This is our,
Yeah. Too much energy up there. Too much stuff going on. Now there's not enough stuff going on.
storm brewing. Is that just a paper towel?
Yeah, and I'd rather be using a rag, but I seem to have used up all my cotton rags here.
John, pick up the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Give us one for the Gipper.
Yeah.
Here.
That might be okay. Okay, back to the tree problem. Take my glasses off. Save squinting, you know.
There you go.
One of the advantages of getting old.
Yeah.
Take your glasses off.
Yeah.
So it's right about here that this could get a little boring. As it just slows down.
Take a break.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Really?
Yep.
You want lemonade?
Oh, yes, you know, I would love a lemonade.
Here, I'll get you.
Thank you.
Andrew,
I got it.
Okay.
That's all right, Andrew. One of our customers will get it for me. Thanks for telling Andrew I needed some lemonade.
I love that about your paintings. The soft trees just look so cool.
Yeah, so, and then often I'll come in and do some scratching. That works really well. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Let me know if there's anything else.
Cheese crackers.
And we can put it. I can give you a little coaster if we need a napkin to put it on something.
Oh, he needs another one. You found that.
I took care of that all at once. Thanks. And then some pencil for some more tree. It's the interplay of hard and soft. I mean, I feel like in the whole painting, it's the interplay of hard and soft is so much of what makes a painting work.
It's cool because it is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Looks cool.
That painting behind you, that one, it's almost like a photograph with a soft lens. If those people weren't in it, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so. Just,
Oh, thank you.
Such great light. Oh, yeah. And I know that's looking down into Raleigh Memorial. I still call it Raleigh Memorial.
No, right, me too. No, that's the Capitol.
That's the that is.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
the
well,
courthouse.
well,
Courthouse building is here. This is the Federal Building, Post Office
Okay.
building. So we're looking north, and this
Okay.
is the Wells Fargo.
All right. Ron.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
I do both directions
Okay.
downtown quite a bit. You know, I have run out of paper towels. I have more out in my van, but I think I might steal some from Wendy. Yeah.
Andrew, what time do you close today?
We close at 4.
We gotta be somewhere
Okay.
at 3, before 3, but I'd like to come back and see the finished work. Will it be here?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't sell it before we get that.
So I'm gonna change gears a little bit and just do some of the buildings. And again, I'm trying to discern which buildings are the most important and only do those. Not turn off my brain and just start mindlessly painting. Just so easy to do. But choose which of these buildings do I really want to pop. And I'm thinking in the range of 2/3 of them or 3/4, but not all of them. And I have no idea which ones. So I'll start with one and go up from there. So I make them pop, of course, by adding light and hard edges to them, or color. Well, I'm going to start with an easy one, with this real bright one here. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out. You know, the longer you stay here, the more paintings you have to buy. You know? I don't know if you saw the fine print. Free admission. Just getting out will cost you. Here's a funny irony after whatever it's been, 10, 11, 12 years of trying to paint with two hands. I'm still very much right-handed, but my left hand has gotten better at doing vertical lines. Isn't that funny? Literally, it could do lines vertical better than my left hand. I don't know how to explain that at all. So I don't try, but it is peculiar. You want me to have one painter? Oh, are you a painter?
I'm starting. I'm
Oh, good,
flying
good,
with
good,
acrylics, yeah. That's why I said-
Oh, good. We have two students back in the room.
I thought I had some nice soft rags for you.
Oh, bless you.
I always carry.
Bless you. So
Here's
here's
for a tourniquet or something, you know. I'm like a Girl Scout. You never know.
So here's the trick. Put down fat oil paint, and then smear it, and then come back and replace the stuff you smeared. You see that everywhere. You see that trick everywhere on my paintings.
What did you like about it? It's okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. I appreciate that. You know, when I paint festivals, which I do a lot of, you know, I just, whatever. I take my own music, or play my own music, just to protect me from theirs. It's like, I I don't need to be wound up to paint. It's more like, no, I'm wound up plenty already. Mellow is more the order of the, for me.
A little bit of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, back when they knew how to make good music.
That's right. You and I are the same age, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say a little bit of Simon Garfunkel. You know?
Yeah, right.
Are you leaving right when you're done, or are you gonna stick around till 4?
I'll be here till close to 4. You probably need to back up a quarter till.
Okay. Very
Well,
good.
thank you for hanging
No,
out.
you're welcome. That was
It's been
fun.
fun. Appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
No, you're saying, guys, take it.
Take it, yes.
Dan ate some more. Give Dan some nourishment. I'm worried about it. Get some cheese and crackers.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
No, I got a little water.
Yeah, protein. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe somebody else would like it on. Maybe those ladies would like it. But thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm hoping to sit in down. Warren comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got cheesecake here, Dan. Come on.
Ooh, I'll take a break and do that in a little
I'm just shoving stuff in my mouth. We'll be back, I hope, before you go.
bit. Okay,
It's been
good.
a pleasure, really.
Thank you. Likewise. You're an artist.
problem.
You're an engineer.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
Thank you.
You're used to touching computers.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really,
Thanks for
really
hanging out,
enjoyed it.
y'all.
Thank you.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm gonna find you Jerry's.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you, ladies. See you later.
Thanks.
See you
Have a
next.
good day.
Appreciate it.
Okay, evidently I'm back broadcasting again.
Oh, good.
That's good, yeah.
I can imagine beginning the mark between your left hand and your right hand were different, or has it gotten to the point where they're almost the same?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I first started out, my left hand was much messier, but it's caught up a lot. Now, it still gives me more variety of stroke than just one hand. But yeah, it's not as erratic as it used to be. Yeah, I was complaining to my viewers the other day that, was just trying to work through the whole issue, same as everybody else, neat versus messy, abstract versus real, hard edge versus soft edge. And somebody came back and said, yeah, probably what has happened is your left hand has just caught up your right hand, so now you're back to neater again. Oh, darn. Okay, now for my foot.
Hold the brush differently, maybe?
Yeah, right. All that is fair game, for sure.
Stools?
No, it's so good, thank you. The low maintenance kids. But thank you, that's very sweet.
painting you don't like to paint?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I paint still lifes almost never. But it's not because I wouldn't enjoy it. It sounds like fun. I've done it a few times.
What about figures?
I particularly enjoy portraiture.
Oh,
But I'm not known as a portrait painter, so it's not. I sell, I don't know, a fair minor number of portraits. But I like it because it's just because of the challenge. It's the hardest thing left.
Do you use the same steps that you do for your landscape painting runs when you
Yes.
use portraits?
Yes, except that the order of importance gets reversed. It's like for this, the abstract marks are more important than the realism or similitude. But for portrait, those change order, change priority. So the similitude, accuracy, realism trumps. But I'm trying to get to the point where my portraits are more like my landscapes. And I think I can get there from here. There's the old joke, how many people does it take to do a painting? 2. 1 to paint, and 1 to shoot them when they're done, which is significantly sooner than the artist thinks they're done. So here, I give you permission to shoot me, or at least tackle me. Stop! I for the last 10 years have led a painters group. We get together once a month and just critique each other's work. It's great fun. And of course we've been doing it for over 10 years, so it's been really fun. Everybody's improved. And but one artist will get up in front of the group and put their painting up and say, now, I'm not finished yet. And everybody in the audience will go, no, you're done. Or they'll say, well, this part's done, but over here, it's not, and no. So we're always, as art, we're always more willing to let the other guy be more abstract than we're willing to be ourselves. And then, of course, that person will sit down, and the person who was just saying, no, will get up and say, well, it's not quite finished yet. And then the roles change.
Right.
No!
Right.
So it really is very strange. There is something about, again, but I mean, if you took that to its ridiculous conclusion, you'd put a completely blank canvas up and say, I'm done. Well, that doesn't work either. So it's somewhere in between. No, I don't think I'm done, and I don't think you would think I'm done either, because I've only got this light stuff right here, none over here. But again, just every step of the painting process, the artist, me in this case, since I'm the one painting, the artist tends to take it too far. And when I look at the really best painters like John Singer Sargent or, OPA masters, somehow they've managed to learn, and I'm trying to learn that.
Now, what is that you just finished out?
That's liquid. It makes the paint transparent and dry faster, and just makes it flow faster. I'm just using it right now as a flow agent. Andrew, what do you do? Are you an artist?
I'm not, unfortunately.
Are you? Well, that's quite all right.
I work more back in the office, but
that is quite all right.
I appreciate it. I wish I had the talent.
Is this the first art job you've ever had?
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's it going? Do you like it?
It's going good.
Wait, is your boss out of your Wendy's over there? Don't say anything. Wendy's right there. Well, my wife is not a painter, artist at all. And I've discovered there's a real value to having somebody around who makes no pretense of being an artist. I ask her what she thinks, and usually her opinion is very uncluttered by art speak. And she said, well, I'm not sure about that part. Usually after I ask her, I'm disappointed that I did. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have asked. But it's usually, much as I hate to hear it, it's usually true. It's usually correct.
She's pretty creative, though.
Yeah, she's creative, and she's a musician, and she's, yeah. Which I don't do it on. Looks kind of like a Dan Nelson baby.
I think we've all given you the confidence you need, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you have covered the gamut.
The paint, whether it's acrylic, oil, watercolor specialties. So this is fascinating to me.
Oh.
Even just for how fast you can paint, man. It is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, now you know how to do it.
Master.
So,
You're a modern master.
well,
We
thank
just
you.
haven't had the world discover you in the same way.
Yeah.
Just yet. But it'll happen. You're too young for that.
Do you show at, like, museums and stuff?
No.
No.
No, you have to be really dead.
You have to be really bad? Is
Really,
that
really dead.
Oh.
I'm only partway dead.
I'm dead, no.
You have to be really dead to get in the museum.
Dan Nelson, you're not even close.
And that's true. And actually, and that's not even true. There's, I don't know. I think it was back when the previous executive director of the North Carolina Art Museum. I forget his name. He's still alive. He's like 90 something. He had a different philosophy, and there are actually some living artists in there. Well, several, but I don't know. Most museums, I'm trying to say, are not trying to fill their walls with beautiful or even interesting.
Well, I guess I'm thinking of
They're trying to fill their walls mostly with
contemporary art
political
museums.
statements.
Right.
Yeah.
Contemporary art
Yeah,
museums.
yeah, political statement art, preachy art, propagandistic. And they have 12 messages. I've written them out. Actually. Save the whales, you know. It's just a progressive, elitist, globalist agenda. That's what you're supposed to paint. And it's not really about the paintings. It's about the statements, mostly. That's a little bit slight exaggeration, but only slight. But the previous executive director evidently sometimes would put in paintings that were just paintings. I'm sure I'm at the North Carolina Art Museum. Art Museum.
Not downtown.
I'm sure that's why they fired him. No, he was old enough to retire. But their current regime is very typical of what you find. That is, what is safe, which is political statements.
Which feel like the most unsafe things in the world to me these days.
Yeah, right.
Political statements.
Yeah.
Human statements, I'm in love with.
Yeah,
Political
exactly.
statements, no, not so much.
I'm assuming the size of the canvas dictates the size of your brushes.
Yeah, a little bit.
'Cause
Yeah.
I've seen you use the same tube the entire time. That's mind-boggling to me.
That I'm using the what?
The same tube.
Yeah, and that's laziness. I usually try to change up the brushes periodically just so I get a variety of shapes and sizes of stroke. It's not hard to use the same tube. That it's easy. It's just, I think, like I say, a little bit lazy almost. But I'm in a hurry.
But that's also an incredible amount of control, though, to get different size marks from the same tools.
I guess, yep. I find this building right here very laborious to paint.
What is that?
What building is it?
Yeah.
It's
I don't
the.
know downtown very well.
Don't you?
It's
Yeah,
still
we have three tall buildings in downtown Raleigh. These three. This is First Union, Wachovia,
Okay.
now Wells Fargo.
Okay.
This one was a RBC. Now it's PNC.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know.
And this is BB&T. Yeah. Yeah, those are the three tall ones. And
And that horizontal
oh, this? That's the shimmer wall.
I know.
Right. Right. That's quite distinctive.
I clearly need to go downtown.
Yeah.
I keep using.
Downtown is
I just moved here as an
my
excuse.
territory, my turf.
The other artists that you had here for the summer series, did they do painting on site or was it more?
No, George did. She brought a piece that she had already started and she finished it on site. French Cora was not here, and then.
Do you have two Coras here? Do you have two Coras
We
showing
do,
here?
which is why we say French Cora and Cora.
Okay,
Like
right.
Cora. Yeah.
And one just goes by Cora, right?
Right, so French Cora signs her paintings Cora, and then we have local Cora Ogden signs hers Cora Ogden. two very differing styles, though. I think once you get familiar
Okay,
with their
so you
work,
can't
you
confuse them.
see. Cora Ogden's very tight.
Oh, so Cora Ogden is the bird
Yes.
bird nest,
Yes.
and she's in Wake Forest.
She's in Wake Forest, yep.
We've had this conversation before. I need,
Cora is
I need to
much
meet her.
I saw her around the
Yeah.
corner, yeah.
So did Wake Forest Cora Ogden, I should be specific.
Yeah, she was here,
She painted?
but she didn't paint.
Most artists don't like to be watched. Truly.
I don't see how you paint and talk. You actually hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
Like, we don't say, what color is that? And you go, oh, I have to go to the dry cleaners later. You know, you're really listening.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
Good.
Hello. You're just in time. We just about sold all my paintings.
Oh,
There's
okay.
only
On
2
the
or 3
last
left.
remaining.
Quick, grab them
Keep
quick.
painting.
We've got drinks and snacks, so if you need anything, let me know and I can grab you.
Okay.
Anything, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
You can really start to see, though, how those thin layers underneath really punch.
Yep.
Underneath. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Welcome. Oh, I know you guys.
Well, we have three of your paintings from Joanne Dreyer, Paul,
Whatever you want.
Where did we talk last?
last we did in the streets downtown. We're actually in one of your, they were doing a video, and we're in one of your videos.
Are you really?
Yes, we are.
Well,
Excellent.
I've done it for
How
like-
fun. Good
So
to
just the other day.
Yeah, just the other day.
see you again.
So, anyhow, yeah. I'm trying, yeah.
I just say, don't pat him on the
Yeah.
neck. Good.
Well, I want to come up and see what there is to see.
Yeah, good.
Taking care of
Taking
me.
care of things.
Taking care of things. The dog became my full-time job. Yeah. Well, that, I have to say, before Paul, you know, had his problems here, his challenges, the dog was his. Yeah. Because I said, I love animals, so yeah, fine, get a dog. He said, "Well, your dog, and you walk it, you feed it, you take it to the vet, everything."
Those
And he
two
did.
marks that
That's
you
it,
just
he
did right there
95%.
completely changed.
Uh-huh.
How you see the building.
The top of that building, yeah.
Unfortunately, right now, he can't do any of it, you know. Yeah. So, because he can't, until he can, you know, live and not be properly. Yeah. The dog walks very nice. She's 65, 70. She's a golden retriever. Wow. Yeah. So she walks very nicely. Yeah. But if a rabbit, you know, we got rabbits in the neighborhood, then she'll yank too hard. Yeah. So until he can, you know, hold more than a milk carton. Yeah.
So we painted your shoulder.
Let me see.
I think you painted.
Which of these paintings did you lean
Did I put paint on you?
Yes, you did when you hugged me.
What color is it?
You're working on the sky. Look at it.
Well, I think you got it all.
No, you got it all. Would you like me to sign it?
No.
That's
very funny.
You need to get a little closer.
We did have an artist here once, and I was wearing a jacket. He said, "Do you care if I sign the back of your jacket?" I said, "Sure." So he did a whole painting on the back of my jacket,
Really?
which is great.
Wow.
But now you can't wash it or anything. Now it just sits there.
You can't some way treat it?
I don't know.
You ought to find out because they do fabric painting.
And I
all the
wouldn't
time.
buy it. It's nice.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, did you like the painting?
Yeah.
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 Really?
Yeah.
Should I add that to my
Wow, that's
repertoire?
changed quite a bit since I walked in.
Yes, has it?
Oh.
The perspective is interesting right now too, because optically we're used to far away things are fuzzy.
Yeah.
But right now the foreground is it's fuzzy.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. Right, and it's gonna stay that way probably. Right, kind of in a way the opposite. And I think it's a lot of people that do cities, a lot of artists that do cityscapes. They have the tops of their buildings are all really, really fuzzy. I don't know if you can think of any of those, but I don't know. For some reason, when I look at a city, to me, it's the skyline. This is what's sharp, and then all this goes down to fuzziness.
She's by Cora, so we call her French Cora.
Okay.
And then we have Cora.
Well, I think it lends well though to the organic nature of the tree, you know, and then you have these, the glass and the metal up against the sky. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
She was telling me she was like kind of with some gold leaf, so she has some gold leaf from the nest. And, yeah, she was teasing this painting for us, so we were excited to get it.
It's my screensaver moment though.
Is it?
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
Do you remember Everyone Else? Yes, I love it. Oh, yeah. So that's what that was. Like, she's setting up. Yeah. And it has, yeah, because the great ones, and the simplicity of it, but it's just so. I wanted to see it. So it's hard to tell in the country because people don't have a place to put it. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, we have our own country.
You all are very patient. You're not. You're till the end of the year.
I've been looking forward to this all week.
Really? Oh, sweet. Good. Glad to hear it.
That was a long time ago.
There was a long time ago.
Now.
I've had so many people tell me about watching the paint.
Really?
Now I finally get to watch it.
It's not like we're gonna.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good. I finally decided that one hot pink spot was just a little too much. Too much of a
I
good
started to
thing.
see that as a sun movie.
Yeah. It's still there, just pushed it back a good bit.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Oh.
I did a lot of work in your kid now. Oh, you took a good spot. I took up 2 spots.
Whoops. That was lunch?
Nice.
Yeah.
It's actually lunch.
Oh, did they? Yeah, because I didn't know they did a lunch. Yeah.
Can you put this back in the office for her?
You sure?
Okay.
I should have picked it up earlier.
But we will be spending the night.
Okay.
See this next
Yes.
lemonade out.
Here's an apple brush.
The food is fine.
Now, you just bought some? I did just buy some tomatoes, yeah, and some zucchini and squash.
I'm getting there, aren't I?
You are.
I'm getting to the point where I have to be really careful, okay?
When did you start this?
11 o'clock.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive.
Photos.
See, now that's cool, just like that.
I was complaining about that at the time.
Really?
Yeah, I said if only that was my style, I could stop right here.
Well, okay, because it is certainly a
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of this.
At the very
Second.
Yeah.
There's such a fine line between loose and not finished. You know, if it doesn't look well, he just quit, or then that doesn't work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Such a fine line. So, like right now, I could call that all the dark sides of all these buildings, they're good enough. But, nah, it just looks like I quit. So I need to go in, I think, with a little bit of something on some of the dark sides of the buildings. And then the next thing you know, I've done too much. So hopefully, without doing too much, and I am going to change brushes so that I get a little more variety of stroke.
Do you always use round brushes?
No, the great majority of my brushes are filberts. These are filberts. And I'm probably stuck even that. But until I learn how to do something better, I'm going to keep using filberts. So what do you have of mine?
Okay, so you have a big, tall one of Beaufort,
Front Street?
It was too big, and so you painted us a smaller one.
Oh, no
that
kidding.
Same scene.
Yeah,
So we
I
have
remember.
We have that at the beach. And then you had a tall ship one, very dark kind of colors.
Yeah.
And
Oranges.
Also Beaufort? I mean, it was a tall ship. So
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also we have one of City Market.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I like your Raleigh cityscapes here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you were painting downtown in the middle of, was it?
Thunderstorm.
Yeah.
It was a thunderstorm.
What was it, art explosion, or was it might have been art explosion. It was a couple,
Oh, and that's
that
where
was
you
a
got
couple of
in
years
that's where
ago.
you got in the video?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Have you done any more installations?
No.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm trying to figure out what to do with that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was making great progress, I thought, toward the convention center. The man who was the executive director is his old friend, and he said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Maybe when we rebuild, when we add our next edition, blah, and then he quit. So
that ended that.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm back to square one. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah. Well, if you want something though, I'm happy for you. Yeah, we've got four drinks here. Well, one of them is water, so we've got some that are in the fridge. But yeah, we've got dessert. Yeah, we've got wine if you want some wine. Muffins.
Give me your phone, please.
Pardon? Not due. There was more busy right at 11 o'clock, actually, ironically. Not as busy as I would like.
Yeah.
But the good news is, I'm gonna do a good painting in the course of the day. So, and hopefully it'll sell eventually. So.
Bye, Andrew.
Bye.
Thanks for guys hanging out with you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Dan, thank you. We're gonna leave and get some paint. Come on.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Okay, good. Yes.
You need any snacks, Dan?
I do.
Sure.
You're still
Sure, just a little something. I know I saw the cheesecake or something.
There's lots. Yeah, there's lots.
There's lots of stuff.
You don't think that we have,
Here, let me grab it myself. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. To take some. Sure. Maybe okay, perfect. I'll make it a little later. Great. Thank you. Yeah, no problem.
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, good.
That sounds like I've been better.
Well, I have been much better.
What you? Is it your back?
Yeah, no, I had some surgery on my back, so I'm trying to recover from that, and standing up for any long period of time is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So.
You let me know if you need a stool or a chair.
Yeah, thanks. And it turns out walking around is better than standing for whatever
Yes,
reason, you know?
I can imagine.
Yeah. So.
I would think that might be the case.
And now the tree's gone.
Yeah, and this part of the painting, this kind of stuff, is probably my favorite part of the whole thing. Is doing this just abstract, and therefore it's easy for me to get carried away and do too much. If anything's fun to do, be careful you don't do too much of it.
How big are the classes that you usually teach?
At Jerry's, 6 to 12 usually. You know, fairly small groups. Yeah. We usually cap it off at, well, maybe 15 might be the limit. Because if you get many more than that, you can't give people enough attention.
let's go paint. Here's Paul. I'm glad that they have
Yes, snack time. Yeah, whatever you need, and I'll get a water for you too.
nourishment to keep
For
going.
my next act, I will now eat in front of you.
Yeah, you can go
Eat with
around.
one hand and paint with the other. Hey, oh, Paul, did you see this, the canes thing?
Yeah, I did. Uh-huh.
I'm trying to figure out what's a cane.
Hurricanes.
Oh, hurricanes, yeah.
Let's go canes.
Yeah, yeah.
We're hurricanes.
Cane.
Cane, oh no, yeah, there we
Big
go.
cane.
Yeah, no. Yeah, see how we put the cane in there with the guy walking?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're season ticket holders.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, then that painting has your name on it.
same colors.
No,
for sure. Yeah, thanks.
Pretty one.
I was gonna say, we might even have a chair that has a
Yeah.
little bit of
Mm-hmm.
so that's okay if you needed it back.
For not letting me knock you over.
Yeah. Did you have just surgery? Oh wow. It's like that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Did you get that this is by the same person who did it?
Is that colored pencil?
No, this is not colored pencil, but she does do colored pencil also. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Take whichever one is called.
Yes.
Yes.
Perspective, or like sort of view when you're adding in between instead of painting the background and then painting the tree.
That's right. 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 Paint in reverse order.
Yeah.
Was this recently or?
Yeah, that's huge for me. Whenever I can, I try to negative paint things instead of positive paint them. Even the buildings, like the sky, when it was the most definitive part of that process. Don't like that mark. Just one more. Yeah.
Just that she was rambling on too much? Was she offended?
No. One that day I was thinking, walking around the
At this point, I'm hardly even looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Am I? I'm
You were thinking that, and then he said it
just
to her?
making pleasant abstract shapes. Yeah, it's close enough. You know, nobody's. Of course, when you, it's funny. Even though I know this, I teach this. You still slip into this. You're not going to hang this on your wall and then tell them to hang this next to it,
Right.
and ask them to grade you. You know, how close did I get?
Right.
It's like,
Absolutely.
it's not going to happen. It's not what people are doing.
Right. Create your own.
So no, you don't have to. Just because it's there, you don't have to. I mean, it's plenty close enough to be the skyline. Anybody who knows Raleigh at all would recognize even the particular buildings. Yeah. So, but what you do use the reference for is to open your imagination to things that you wouldn't have thought of on your own.
Or even just scale.
Yeah, that too, for sure.
Oh, really? So, yeah. My dad's 70th birthday just passed, and I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm not going to do anything here. Not surprising with a party, they were not doing this. So, yeah, they're doing really well. That's fine.
Are they having anything for the 50th? Or?
Is it a large ceremony
I tried,
coming up tonight?
Yep. Well, I'm painting the reception.
I have a friend who's celebrating
Carolina Country Club.
tonight. She's having
So put on, change shirts, put on the rest of my tux, and do the same thing all over again. Starting at 6 o'clock,
Wow.
6 till midnight.
Really?
Yeah.
Do your arms start getting sore?
No.
They don't?
No.
Do you have to stretch and
My feet, no. Feet get sore.
Yeah.
That's funny. No. Don't think my arms ever got sore.
That's good. That's good.
I think what I love most, though, honestly, though, is when you probably see a hand, and you're different.
That's right.
But just the blending of these undertones and
Yeah.
tones, it's probably my favorite part. It's the
Me
layering.
too. Yeah, yes.
See the layering.
Yep. Me too, to a large extent. And yeah. In fact, all the stuff that I put on in the final layer, this layer, it's mostly opaque, right? It's opaque daubs of paint, and opaque paint is not as interesting as transparent. Yeah, all this is layers of several colors all piled up. Therefore, it's a very rich. Yep. Whereas anyway. So I will take this home, probably, unless you sell it today, which is fine. But I'll take it home and paint the top and bottom and wire on it, and then once I get it home, I'll probably fiddle with it a little bit more too. So, and then bring it back, okay? It'd be cool if somebody who watched me paint it wanted to come back and buy it. That's the idea, kind of.
Right. We had one woman that was, you weren't even out of that translucent phase, and she was interested in it.
Okay, good.
So, how are you doing, dear? I think it's time for me. You think it's time? Yeah. You did good, though. Yeah, I'll hurt. Okay. All right. All right. I'm just curious, how much is the sword taking that out? What's the prices? I think it's in the wrong side. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the other fascinating part for me too is just learning how to mix color.
Really?
How to make color.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I rarely teach color mixing because I go you just make the color you want. I'm afraid it's so old and intuitive that I'm hardly aware of what I'm doing. I mean,
because there's infinite versions.
Yeah.
There's dozens. There's infinite shades that you can make.
Yeah.
There's dozens of red. There's dozens.
That's
of
right.
purples,
Right.
dozens of greens and everything in between.
Yep.
And then the colors you mix from those. So.
Yep.
All right. Take care. I'll see you soon.
I'm in danger of overdoing it here.
Are you ready?
So.
Don't overdo it when you take it home.
Right, right. If I do, if I do take them, what I'd like to do is glazes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Nice seeing you again.
Thanks for limping in, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Good to see you. Bless you, bless your back.
You have to be careful, people. How you doing? How you doing? Pat, pat.
No hard taps.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks good to me where it is now.
Almost.
Ah.
A lot of grapes. You're hungry. Do you like, can you have a pretzel? Those are good sugar. Do you like those little pretzel chips?
Okay, let me slow down a little bit and take a break and look at stuff.
What?
So 3.5 hours. That's not bad. I think I want to come back and do more pencil. I'm going to take a quick break here, folks. Thanks for watching. Glass, yeah. There's no perfect palettes. No perfect palette solution. This is the one I like the best. The downsides are, of course, we can break. And it's heavy, but when you're painting outside in the wind, heavy's a good thing. But, yeah.
Is there any reason why the backing is that kind of color?
Yes, I was trying to get, I actually spray painted that color. That's not the color I wanted, but that's the color it ended up in. And I don't have patience to wait for it to go by to the store and get another color.
So that doesn't do anything for like when you're mixing colors?
It does, no, it's just a little bit too dark and a little bit too red. Yeah, but you definitely want, at least you want a flesh tone. And flesh tone portrait for portraiture. And I feel like if it's good enough for portraiture, it's good enough for everything else.
So ideally you wanted it darker or lighter?
Slightly lighter and not quite as red, but close enough. That's the way I felt. Close enough.
Yeah.
You sure don't want white. And glass by itself, a 1/4 inch piece of glass would show up green, and you certainly don't want green.
No.
So that's why I went with a reddish brown, but it is a little bit browner and redder than I wanted, but close enough. Yeah, because it's hard enough to match colors, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so after a little break, sitting there eating my fancy food, I need 2 things. One is I need values breaks. That's where, like for instance, wherever there's a lot of one color, like this green, you can tell I used the same color green all across here. So being able to tell that it's the same color is not a pleasant experience. It's like, ew, the artist just used the same color. He just put that color on his brushes and did all that. So I'm going to come back and mix up this almost the same color but slightly lighter. So that's called the values break. A break in the values. Thanks for responding.
I'm giving you a free little lesson.
Yeah, you are getting a free little lesson. So I don't know if what I've just mixed up matches or not. Ooh, almost perfect. So I'm just making it a little bit lighter because we like to see light paint on, in this case, slightly lighter. So subtlety is the word here. We like to see little bits of slightly lighter paint on top of what's already there. So this is one of the things I'm going to do. The same thing in wherever I see a lot of similar color, like this orange stuff, and blue sky, and then I'm going to come back and do what is traditionally called broken color. Right now I'm doing broken values. And then I'm going to come back and do broken color, which means same value, same light dark, but a contrasting color to what's there. Okay, so that's probably enough in the green. In fact, it's a little bit too much, a little bit too speckly.
You do that with such confidence.
Yeah. Yes, I suppose so. I'm going to go up and do the sky next because that's where one of the places where I need this the most. So trying to mix up something slightly lighter than this. Of course, in this case of the sky, everybody knows the sky gets lighter as it approaches the horizon, and I did that here, but I just didn't do it enough. It doesn't get light bright enough, so I'm going to make it. Oops, it's still not light enough. It's an easy fix though. There we go. I don't know how much you guys on the camera on YouTube can even see this. It's just subtle enough that, you know, between my camera and your monitor, I don't know if you can even see that I made that slightly lighter. But again, subtlety is a huge factor in painting. Our eyes, they don't get that excited when the viewer gets clubbed over the head by contrast. I don't know. Of course, my whole painting is about contrast of light and shadow, right? But here in this, at this level, subtlety is so important. Let's do a little bit way over here. So right now, again, I'm doing values, little breaks in the values. I'm going to leave the buildings right now. I'm going to skip ahead, jump ahead to what I just called a minute ago. I called color breaks. If you were with me earlier this week, I was talking about growing pains and me trying to be very, very intentionally self-critical, self-analytical, and trying to figure out what it is perhaps that is missing in my paintings that I see in some of the masters. When I look around at other really good painters, can I figure out anything they're doing? One of the things I came up with was more color breaks. That's my terminology. It's more color, would be another bit, but let me be a little bit more specific. A color break means you're applying, for the most part, a color onto the canvas that's the same value as what's already there. Okay? So I'm not changing the value. If it's dark, I'm leaving it the same darkness, if you will. If it's mid-tone, same degree of mid-tone. If it's light, same lightness. But a contrasting color. So that's what some people call a color break. Right now I have red on my brushes, and red, this is particularly effective up near the sky because the sky, as you may know if you were here with me earlier today, the sky was underpainted with a orange-pink, somewhere in the orange-pink family. And so now when I come back with orange-pink on my brushes and do some of the underpainting color on top, our eyes really get a kick out of being tricked. That would be a trick kick. Our eyes get a kick out of being fooled slightly, momentarily, by what's on top of what. So I'm just looking, I'm not trying to paint realistically right now. I'm just looking for any excuse whatsoever for introducing at the moment this pretty intense red-orange color. Okay, so darken this just for a minute to make up, instead of red-orange, now it's a truer red. And again, I am not looking for realism at this point. I'm just looking, but I am responding to what's already on the canvas. That is, where am I putting these bits of red? I'm putting it where I already see red is on the canvas, is on the painting. I'm just jumping on board and intensifying, super intensifying what's already there. Does that make sense? Let me look for another place. Like there's a slash of red right here in this building. I'm going to give that red some company, so to speak. And then scratch whenever I feel like it. Be an artist. Scratch when you feel like it. Okay, now let's continue along the same theme, but I'm done with the red for the moment. Let's go to a purple violet. There's several little places all throughout the painting where there are hints of violet purple. So that's fair game then. Wherever I see already a bit of purple, I'm feeling like I have permission then to come in with some much more intense purple. Not changing the values so much, trying to stay in the same value range as what's already there. So again, I don't know if you guys on the YouTube can see this or not, but just a little bit of this kind of stuff, this kind of thing, because I'm putting on pretty intense color. Pretty intense color. I'm going to lighten this up now. But just a little bit goes a long way. It really brightens up a painting. That's part of the reason why the other day, last week, when I was looking for ways to improve my own paintings, this is one of the categories that I discerned I could go stronger in. And so at the moment, I'm liking it. It would be funny if this actually becomes like I could imagine it becoming an additional or final step on my paintings. Coming back and doing color breaks. Any more purple? No. It's enough. I don't see any orphan purples lying around, so I'll stop that. Whoa!
I actually made this.
I bet I can believe you did.
And
you
also
are
I can shoot.
Very good.
See?
Cool.
Do you know how I did that? Do you know how I did that?
Is there a trigger? Oh my goodness. That is too cool.
You just blew it back. Oh, and also the other thing that's so cool is, it's not like a shooting part. See? Look at the mouth. Look at the mouth.
Oh man. The mouth opens and closes.
Do you know how I'm doing that?
Wow.
So if you
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness.
So, that is a
That is crazy. Did you
So
put that
this-
together all by yourself?
Yep. This goes to right here, and then
That's
when
my
you,
wife.
like, pull it, when you pull it back,
She's not
then
gonna buy
it
anything.
opens. So when you pull it frontwards, it's actually pulling
Yeah.
this backwards.
Oh
to
my
open.
goodness. That is too cool.
That's
Wow.
good.
Wow. That is a
And
huge
also I can put people
Lego
in.
creature.
Oh look, there's a guy in
Oh, quite all right. Assure you.
Wait, how do you know that he's on my
Oh, what are you doing?
And then here?
Breaking up the sky a little bit.
Yeah.
You know you're on video.
Yep.
Hey, she's on video.
Yeah, she does. Yep, I'm doing some intentional color breaks here. Nice. Coming by. This is Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
My wife Nancy. This is my wife Nancy. I forgot her name for a second.
Oh, thank you. I had a pixie cut many years ago, and it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of miss it, but I don't miss it. I miss the phase of like growing it back out, you know? So I just don't cut it. But every time I see you cut, it's like,
This was crafted over time. I have a lady who's been cutting my hair for probably 18, 20 years, I guess.
oh, wow.
And so it
Are you
took me-
serious?
Oh yeah, because it was during Richmond Square days.
What?
Yeah, Rachel Torto introduced me to Teicher that long ago.
Oh my goodness.
And we talked.
Okay, so now I'm doing, my wife just showed up, so yay. I'm doing more, now I'm actually
Once I
doing
got it,
color breaks and value breaks. The difference is, if the color you put down is a lot lighter or darker, that's a values break, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. But in a color that I didn't have earlier, so. So let's mix up some real pale to do some, these building, I have too many buildings that are too much the same value. Does that make sense? Too much the same color and value, I should say. I just come in here and hit little highlights.
Yeah. People's like, oh man. So, there you go. So, do you tag along with the wedding, or?
Oh yeah, especially if they're far away. We try together there. I don't remember. It's local.
Okay.
But when it's far away, I go because
Push it down.
hard work is just
Wish you could.
often we'll get there and there'll be one day we either come to breathe or run out to the art store. Or something. We absolutely love that, but also just get away, break, not interrupted.
Yeah.
Conversation.
Well, we've had a few people here, Nancy.
Yeah.
Not as many as we would have liked, I'm sure. Probably what, 15?
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good number. I mean, a handful of them actually stayed for
Yeah, a long
a while,
time.
at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were sitting on the window ledge there, just hanging out. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, Saturdays, I mean, just the weekends in general could be a hit or miss. But we've been finding, I'm assuming right now, it's always at the beginning of the summer, it's kids are out of school, everybody's really busy this morning, the first couple hours, and now it's all mess.
Right.
Just left, but now I think it's.
So when were these paintings put on the walls? Is that today or yesterday?
No, so of the inventory that we had, I always have Dan's paintings out, at least one or two on the floor. But for her show, I hung it. You dropped your paintings off last Saturday. I hung it. I'm off Sunday, Mondays. I hung it on Tuesday, and then that was like a layout, getting things on the wall, and then going back in and kind of tweaking some things, moving things around. Just I don't want similar colors in each other, sort of thing. Playing around with lights, all of that. So I think it was done by the end of Tuesday. And it's photographing everything new for the website, getting that up on the website, getting labels and names and all those things. I need something for that wall. I didn't have one more painting for that one spot, so I put some glass there.
Oh.
Where?
Over there.
Right there.
Oh. Wow. Could you? So you could have used one more painting?
But now I do. I have one. You're working on it.
That's right.
So this will be up for a month, and then you know, Dan, as before, agreed upon before, whatever you need.
Yeah.
For the end of the year, just pull it out. But then new pieces will.
There's one in particular. This
The
one.
Ochre Cove
If this
one,
one doesn't sell, because I'm going back to Ochre Cove in October to paint for a week, and we always try to sell there. So I'll definitely take that one. I did it last October.
Is the other boat? That's not, because I know it's titled The American Work, but is that in Ochre Cove too?
No, that's Beaufort. Several years ago, I'm in a little gallery. Do you know the Matty King Gallery?
I've heard of it.
It's not a real art gallery. It's got a play art gallery. It's really cute, but they've actually done fairly well for me. It's part of the in Beaufort. You familiar with Beaufort at all?
I love that.
It was a historic district, like now Micro Williamsburg, you know, where they have historic buildings, and on Saturdays they have women and children and men that dress up in period costumes and give
Oh
tours.
wow! Okay.
There's a building in there called the Matty King Gallery. So it's not the lady who runs it. She's in charge of the whole historic, you know. So it's not a real gallery. It's
Hey, lady. How's it going?
but
Good.
anyway, and I was painting it for them.
Yeah, too.
And several days in Beaufort, and somebody
Yeah.
picked me up.
The one that can.
Oh
So
wow!
great. I got so many pictures.
Wow.
Good pictures.
Yeah.
Turns out you can really get good pictures if you're on the water shooting back toward land.
Yeah.
So that was one of the many.
Cool.
And I've done that one,
His wife is down there every other weekend.
who knows how many times.
It's like living in the
Is that a workshop?
Yes, because it's a class too.
He seems very
If you know me long enough, stick around long enough to say, oh yeah, because those two
Yeah,
are,
that's
you know,
funny.
basically
Yeah.
the same scene from a different class.
Yeah, so funny, just like.
I think Andrew and I were on your website just looking around.
He's very.
Were ya?
We saw a painting. It looked like the one that's on the wall. I'm like, no, that's not the one that's out there. It looks really similar, but the color is different.
Yeah, yeah. That is
So
it.
kind of like convincing yourself, like, no, that's not the same painting.
That's right.
Or maybe did you repaint it? Maybe. You know?
Yeah, no. They would, I don't think, it would, the changes wouldn't be that drastic, I don't think, if I repainted it.
I like that little bit of orange that you put in that center.
Yeah.
In the window.
Yep, I just did.
You are. So if I
Number.
That's not PNC, is it?
That's not what? No.
That's not PNC, is it?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was down at one of those buildings the other day, and we were on the 17th floor having a meeting, conference room, and the windows were like this. So you had windows here and here, in the corner conference room. And I was telling them guys that are washing windows, they didn't come up on a, you know, usually they just got from the, no. They were just popping down from the top. And they both kind of landed like, boom, boom. It was bad. Everybody jumped. Spider-Man!
Did it make you? Did it make you want to be a window washer?
No. It was a 25-story building, and they were just coming down. Did you see that building that they're putting up beside? It's right there on Fayetteville Street.
Yeah.
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 Huge.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have no idea. So it's gonna.
Office space, retail, and apartments.
Yep. So they're gonna change my paintings again.
Yes.
This one, this painting right here, I've done this view so many times, but the next to last time I went down there, this is all a new building.
Yeah.
And it was like, they've ruined the view. So yeah, I went back and say, okay, there must be some way to make it work. You know, it's really, so this building, and this is a lot closer, of course, than all these, but it used to be really kind of a flat. You know, all of these tall buildings were sort of on tables.
Yeah.
And, but now it's new. So
Hey, you made it back.
what used to be the warehouse district is no longer. There's like one old brick building left.
And like a little nitpicky.
Everything else is, you know, all of this is new.
So he's done.
This is new. He did
You know, so
old,
he
that's new.
actually mentioned that he might
And this is
take it
part of
and
the
finish
light
it
rail
tonight
early
and then
stages.
bring it back. But he's gonna play there.
By the way, all these paintings, you know, are not varnished.
Yeah.
And they all should be varnished.
It's amazing.
But-
Oh, hi, Nancy. Yeah, we were watching from the first shows this morning.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Margaret. It's good to meet you. Yeah.
And your name? Michelle.
Some of them are there, yeah, they're old, but they're varnished.
I just keep thinking of those.
Not many of the others. What have I done?
No, I'm just saying, I'm thinking back to those first strokes at 11 o'clock.
Thank you.
It is wonderful. It's very exciting.
And I sat down for a few minutes and ate some snacks.
Oh, good. I felt really bad. We were going to go to the Chinese, and I thought, well, will the gallery have dinner for you? Because I got you coffee the last time. I want to see that you're well fed. So.
And I sat there and had a delightful snack and just picked up a few things, so I'm nearly finished.
Yeah. Well, it was good because we didn't end up getting to the Chinese. It was closed. They had closed for lunch. I mean, closed from lunch
from
and
lunch.
not to dinner. Oh, Dan, it's amazing.
Well, thank you.
And so
She's sort of
tomorrow
my mentor,
we
but
get
I
to
just
see
started
it.
acrylic,
This-
but
When someday when
watching
it's
them,
in the next
I'm seeing
week or
a
so
lot of
when it's
things I
done.
wanna try. I'm gonna
Yes,
try
I mean
it.
here?
Two-handed.
Yeah.
See it here?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I will take it home and bring it right back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Monday if I can. I mean, I want to get it here.
Now, he said you're a musician.
But Tuesday.
What do you play an instrument?
Oh, wait, no, I'm leaving town on Tuesday. So it better be Monday. I'll be gone for 3 days. And you don't work Monday? Are you open Monday?
I just
Andrew,
sold my
are you
electronic
here
keyboard.
Monday?
That's all I
You're
had.
not here Monday?
I always wanted to do
Was
that.
you here today?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's a
normally, yes,
challenge.
Andrew's here, but not
Yeah,
next
okay,
Monday.
so y'all are closed on Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get one of my kids to drop it off.
Okay.
Think about it.
Whatever
I mean,
works.
even a guitar.
I'll take a picture of it though before.
Gotta get
you go.
she's leaving town. But thank you, Dan.
You are so
Enjoyed it.
welcome.
I love
Thank
watching
you.
every stroke, and
For now.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So you're her mentor. Well, isn't she gracious?
I taught her and she teaches me.
I really enjoy doing what I do. And
So you've taken some of his classes?
I took one of his classes.
Which one was it?
Yeah.
What subject?
It was
Was it a
something
painting?
really early on. I
Oh,
mean,
was
it
it
was
really?
5
Long
years
time ago?
ago.
No kidding.
And I really liked it. I have the painting at home. It's so bad that I'll show you. It's got too dark and jazzy, but I had such a good time. And there was somebody who was a friend of yours. I can't think who it was, who said, "Oh,
Yeah,
I love that photograph." And he talked like you all were friends, and he described. I said, "Well, if you want this photograph," he gave it in class. I'm sure he wouldn't mind sharing it with you. So I gave him this dog-eared, paint-covered photograph. So anyway, he said he was going to tell you about it. So someday you'll see that boat again.
Yeah. Was it that boat right there?
No.
Okay.
It's a boat on
Oh, yeah.
concrete blocks in the country.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
But I want to know where
have to
you
do
are
like
teaching
this, so he has to-
next. So I looked on the goals list and asked her to let me know when you be
Little
teaching.
model, I guess. Yeah.
Teach a workshop for those of us who've been painting long enough to be in serious trouble.
Yeah.
You know, one of those. Teach this.
That's a great description.
Teach
That's a great
this
description.
again, just like you did. Paint
Okay.
one whole day and then repaint the
This
next.
is for ages
Excellent.
Would that be something you might consider?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so I'll look on your
That is
website,
great.
and as I said, I'm thinking about
I was 6 when I
making sure that I think. I don't know.
It was so nice watching you work. It
Thank
was
you.
great.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
It's
Appreciate
wonderful
it.
meeting you, Kathleen. Thank you so much for your gracious letting us stay. Do we all rent? Do we all rent?
There you go.
I will.
Yeah, we will. I
will.
stay on the website and I get all the emails, so, yeah.
Bless you.
It's
Oh,
great,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
great
yeah.
going
There's
out
so
there.
much.
And I tell everybody about it
Oh,
too,
good.
it's hidden back here.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you. Now
thank
another
you.
5.
Okay.
No.
I might be all done.
Oh, yeah.
The green on the top of the building.
Bye, kids.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cool. Oh, yeah, the back. Oh, yeah. Was that hard to do? Did you say when you were 6? Very hard to do. So you're playing hard very much.
That was just scratching. Pretty much at random. When in doubt, scratch.
now that
How are you?
Hello.
where it was.
Okay.
Okay. Good thing. Okay.
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 All I'm gonna do now is sign it,
I think,
and I'll be almost done. Oh, wait. No, there was one more thing. I'm sorry. There is one more thing. In my sitting and ruminating, I realized that I wanted just a little bit more texture here and there.
You keep it on your dresser, I don't know, or a shelf or what?
I just actually just keep it on my dress. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
take all of the
Is that good enough? Can I quit now, please?
and then I'm gonna like so when my friends come over, they're like my birthday. So we can like go on everything.
When's your birthday?
So I say,
Okay. So you were 7 on July. You're 7 on 7/7. Oh. And
Thanks for watching.